This video will be talking about how do you buy your first investment property in Malaysia. So when should you buy a property? The first step is really managing your finances well, because paying for a home loan is a long-term commitment that can go up to 30 years, and if you default in your payment, the bank have the right to increase that interest rate or even foreclose your property, which means they can force sell your property through an auction to recover the balance. The second step is to create a good credit score. Credit score is basically a record of your loan payment history, and banks will use this as a record reference as to your ability to repay your loan on time. If you have a bad credit score, the bank will see you as a bad paymaster, and they will either reject your loan or offer you one at a higher interest. Now, if you want to learn more about how credit score works, you can check out this video here about credit scoring. But for a quick overview here right now, the best way to get a good credit score is to apply for a credit card under your own name. This means if you actually have a supplementary credit card, right, it won't help you with your credit score. It has to be under your name, so it's your credit card, alright? This video is sponsored by Skillshare. It's an online learning community with thousands of classes that you can learn from. If you are thinking of starting a freelance business and make some extra money, you can check out this video, The Freelancing Guide, The Secret to Strong Client Relationship. This will give you some useful guide on how you can build a successful side hustle to make more money. So, if you'd like to improve your value and you'd like to support our channel, check them out in the link below. The first 1,000 of our subscribers who use my link will get a 1-month free trial to Skillshare Premium. Once you get your credit card, all you need to do is spend money on it. As long as you spend just 100 ringgit and you repay consistently, then you have a 12 months record of you being able to repay whatever money that you borrowed. Now you got a good credit score, and that's where many new investors make this mistake. They think that by the time they want to buy a property, they can just create a credit score in just 2 to 3 months. No, it doesn't work like that. It takes time. So the best way is at the moment you graduate, you get a job, apply for a credit card, then create that credit score. So when you're ready to buy a property, your credit score is there already. Many people like to ask this question: should your first property be for own stay or for investment? My personal opinion is this: have your first property as a rental property. Because if you buy the first property for your own stay, your installment becomes an expenses every month, which reduces your cash flow. Then it's harder for you to get another loan to buy the second property. But if you have your first property rented out, then the rental income will offset your installment. This means you have the financial ability to buy another property. In the eyes of the bank, this is called DSR, debt servicing ratio. It's a method to calculate if you can afford the loan that you are applying for. One of the first things that everyone needs to consider when buying an investment property is connectivity. Is the particular location well connected? Does it have public transport? Does it have different roads that connect to different highways at different parts of the city? This means more people will access this location, which means higher footfall. And with the higher footfall, more businesses will open, and with more businesses, higher population. With more people living here, the chances of the property to increase in price way higher. Think about a place like Kota Damansara or Montara. They are very well connected. You can easily access this place from different highways and different roads. That's why the price increased so much. Another thing to consider when you want to invest in property is the type of property to invest in. Now, one of the all-time favorite is certainly landed property. Landed property is very fitting for capital appreciation. Why? Because you own the land. So this means even when the building is old, when someone buys it over, the land itself got value. They can just tear down the building, rebuild it. See, like this one. Usually for capital appreciation, landed property is very good. But when it comes to rental, landed property may not fetch you that high of a return. And that is the reason why for your first property, I usually would recommend this kind. High-rise property. Usually high-rise property will generate you better rental yield. Whether is it apartment, condo, flat, usually the yield is just better, mainly because of convenience and the facility that it has. The key point is when your first investment property gives you a good rental yield, it will open you up to more options for the future properties that you want to purchase. Hey guys, do you know that we have a new podcast series coming up very soon? So stay tuned, turn on the notification bell so that when it comes out, you get the first news. When you want to buy a property, how much money do you need? When you go and see a property and you decided this is the property that you want to buy, the first thing you need to do is place a booking fee, and that is 3%. And if the seller agrees to the price of the property and signs the booking fee, then you need to start to go and process your loan and stuff like that. And once your loan is approved, you sign the SMP, you need to pay something called a down payment. And the down payment is usually 10% of the value of the property. But because earlier you already paid 3% booking fee, that booking fee will usually be converted to an advance down payment. So you're only left with a remaining of 7% to pay for. After the SMP is signed, the lawyer will process for the remaining paperwork, and once it's about time to disperse the loan, then you need to pay for your SMP, which is the sales and purchase agreement, and also the stamp duty. Depending on the property value, there's a different way to calculate it. The fee will vary according to the value of your property, but it's safe to say that you should prepare 5% to cover for both of these fees. So overall, you should prepare around 15% of the property value to pay upfront in cash. The next thing we're going to talk about here is actually the cost after purchasing a property. Many people think that after you buy a property, then that's it, Actually not true. You need to prepare some money. Think about it, one of the most important things is actually renovation fee. This is especially important if you are buying an investment property. Why? Because when people want to rent a property, they want to make sure that the property is at least in a good condition, So how much do you need to spend on renovation? Well, it really depends on the location and your target market. Who are you renting the property to? Now, if you are thinking about renting your property to people who are looking just for basic accommodation, then all you need is actually just very minimal investments. Think about it. When people are trying to rent a property for basic living, they are not looking for lifestyle. And usually they don't mind having cheap furniture, and probably they'll even be bringing in their own furniture. All you need to do is just make sure that all the things are working fine. So in this case, probably all you need to do is just set aside around 10,000 ringgit or at most 20,000 ringgit. Do some basic touch-up like repainting the walls, making sure that the toilets are working fine, the lights are fine, the aircon is well, the fan is well. However, if your target market is actually the middle upper working class people, they are usually looking for lifestyle. If that's the case, you need to spend more on renovation. You need to make sure that likely it's fully furnished. Having an ID person to help you to design the whole place probably is a good idea, because for this kind of people, when they are renting a property, if they are going to pay 2,000 to 3,000 ringgit, it means that they have the purchasing power. So this means if the renovation is nice and it feels good to walk in your house, they are willing to pay more to rent that place. Lastly, some final tips when you buy a property. When you go and negotiate for a property, make sure you bring along a checkbook. And when you negotiate for the price, do offer people a booking check. Why? Because it shows your sincerity that you're really trying to buy the property. Trust me, the effect will be much better than you just tell the agent,
"Hey, can you give me a cheaper price or not?"
It is very different when the seller can see a check in his hand. So these are the things that you need to consider when buying your first investment property. I know at the end of the day, there are also many other things that I didn't manage to touch on, but I already touched on all the important things. However, if you have any ideas and any tips as well, do share with us in the comments below. Or if you have any questions, do leave a comment down there and we'll try to get to you as soon as possible.